Charlie Kirk died doing what he loved, trying to stoke a race war.
You know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
You know what? Charlie Kirk did have a family and kids, and I'm sending them thoughts and prayers. The same kind of thoughts and prayers that he and people like him sent to the parents of the kids in Sandy Hook and in Uvalde and in Parkland, and to the families of people in Buffalo and El Paso. Because when things like this happen, apparently thoughts and prayers are enough.
You will never catch me being one of them creators. It's like, oh, this is such sad news.
We're gonna remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian. See a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman. I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? Thomas Sowell and Justice Clarence Thomas are far better black role models to celebrate than Martin Luther King. Period. End of story.
Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
What up, my beautiful black people? Welcome to Black People Politics Network. I'm Mr. Red. Let me just say, this ain't about celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. This is about context. Charlie Kirk wasn't just some loudmouth on the internet. He was head of Turning Point USA. He was shaping the minds of the youth, particularly white youth, with racism, with conspiracy theories, and when need be, low-key calls for violence. He influenced millions of people. And words like that, it don't just live in a vacuum. They have consequences. And this is why it might seem like some in the black community don't have remorse for this man, because we know what people like Charlie Kirk, who uses divisive rhetoric, what it means. A bunch of dog whistles, a bunch of words stoking more division. We can't hold it against black people for feeling the way they do based on the things that people like Charlie Kirk say and do.
Okay, like honestly, all jokes aside, that was a hit. And who wanted that man gone? Like, that was legit a hit. Can't nobody convince me it wasn't. That was a hit. It's something deeper than what we all see and know, but that was a hit.
Man, they put that boy Kirk on a shirt, dog. Kirk on a shirt. And the crazy thing about it is they saying it's a boomer. It's got to be one of these Vietnam vets, bro, because ain't no way. That shot placement was fucking immaculate.
I don't really care about, him passing away and all that because, that man was definitely not for mainly us, but he was definitely, one of those people who was in the cult of MAGA, so I really could care less about him.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live when I believe. No. What do? I get charity every single year.
Because of DEI, it begs the question, when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified.
For his last words to be gang violence and to get popped in the karate like that by a fellow white, whoop-de-doo!
The man asked him, how you feel about mass pew-pewers, right? Dude say something about, do that include gang violence, or what about gang violence or something like that?
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
2 seconds later, pew-pew go! Kool-Aid spilling out his shit. And you expect me, as a black person, a black man, to feel bad about that shit? His last point of his life was trying to be on some racist shit.
Don't let these people gaslight you into thinking that, oh, you're a terrible person for not feeling bad about it. Bitch, this motherfucker was out here, like many others, shitting on people who were pew-pewed, and then we're just like, oh, that's just life.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say, a win is a win.
Charlie Kirk has made his career by calling us criminals, by dismissing systematic racism, or at least, if he talks about it, using it in a way to try to bolster certain points. And he also weaponized stereotypes. I mean, this man tried to compare quote-unquote black-on-black crime to mass shootings, when we know that the people who are doing these mass shootings that people really have concern about don't look like us, fam. He would mock our culture to continue to protect white gun culture. But that ought to tell you the state of America in 2025, something that we have been talking about for a long time. We've been needed to do something about this gun violence, and yet, in his final moments, this is the statement that he's going to have to go to his maker, having said, how can we feel sorry for someone who really didn't care about us, our community, our plights, how we even got here? He would talk about how the black community is where it's at, but never talked about the underlying reason for it. And again, it comes back to the systemic racism. But he would never talk about that, at least not in a meaningful way to let us know that he was an ally. We didn't get that type of vibe from him.
Imagine your last words being, is that with us or without us talking about gang violence, and then getting killed by a white man in Utah. Man, y'all ain't finna gaslight me into feeling bad, man. It's a celebration, bitch.
I hate when somebody kicks the bucket and people try to hold others to a high moral standard that person never lived by. It's wrong to talk bad about Charlie Kirk like that. He just lost his life. What about his family? You know what else is wrong?
So we need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen. You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home, by having more armed guards in front of schools. We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal.
Family, I want you to listen to these voices. These are your voices. This is what I built this channel upon, so you can understand that there are people that may feel the way you do. Right, wrong, or indifferent. These aren't polished pundits. This is everyday Americans saying, nah, we don't feel bad about this, or we're not giving this some thought, or thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. And normally we're taught to show respect in death. What respect has people like this shown us when we told them, hey, we're being beaten, we're being unfairly treated, etc., etc. We're told to stop whining. There's no such thing as systemic racism. You need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you need to stop whining, or just straight out, this country wasn't for you, isn't for you. Or thoughts and prayers. Charlie Kirk's words often strip people of their humanity in order for him to make his points, to get his viral sound bites. And when you strip people of their humanity, don't expect them to look at you as human.
He said he was cool with the casualties. So him being one of them shouldn't be a problem. That was a risk he said he was willing to take. He said he wanted to take the risk to protect all of his other God-given rights. And guess what? Fuck around and find out. And now he's clipped. We don't care.
Charlie Kirk once said that it's worth it to have gun deaths every year if it means that we get to keep the Second Amendment. And today, the irony is that he died by gunfire. The Second Amendment was never about freedom. It was created so that slave owners could arm militias to crush rebellions. And while white folks were guaranteed guns, black people were denied that right for centuries. So when he called our deaths rational, he was just echoing America's original design, that black life is expendable.
The far right has moved from the fringes directly into the halls of government itself. The New York Times dropped this explosive new report calling out by name members of the Trump administration who expressed opinions that would probably get most people fired. Competent white men must be in charge. Unfortunately, our national ideology is predicated on coddling the feelings of women and minorities and demoralizing competent white men. He's now a State Department employee and head of the U.S. Institute for Peace. and Paul Ingracia, who has posted on social media, quote, "Exceptional white men are not only the builders of Western civilization, but are the ones most capable of appreciating the fruits of our heritage." He is now Trump's pick to lead the office of special counsel.
Is this the best you can do?
Living around white people is not a human right. You don't get to live with us all the time, all right?
Does it look like I care that you were talking to me?
This is our country that we built. Yeah, white immigrants built this country, thank you.
It was a lie, they told us.
And yes, I understand that black people have been a part of this country since the beginning because of slavery. And the logical consequence of slavery is that, you have these people displaced in this country. And, at the time, maybe the better choice should have been to just send them back to Africa.
How about Grant, go back to where you came from?
Because clearly they can't integrate in a proper society and live with us without just murdering each other in the streets.
MAGA doesn't give a damn about that man. They're not upset that people are celebrating his demise because they care about him. They're a bunch of narcissists and sociopaths who have no empathy for others. What they are upset about is seeing the response of lots and lots of people to the demise of people like them, people who share that same hateful rhetoric.
Also, don't ever let a white American tell you that violence is never the answer. Because that's a wrong message from a wronger messenger.
Dear Grim Reaper, I'm just saying, if you're coming back to harvest, if you are around to do a little reaping, we are perfectly fine with you expanding on the 3-person rule this time. You could take a handful. You could take a list. We'll live. We will be okay. We give you permission. We give you our joint permission. Thank you for your service.
The reason you have to get a driver's license, the reason you have to get a pilot's license, the reason why you have to get a boating license is to keep people safe. That doesn't seem to be his concern. His concern is just to have guns. There's been a dumbass argument that has been made over and over again. If people have to have a license to prove that they can be on the road with cars, they should have to get a license with background checks in order to make sure that the wrong people aren't handling these guns. It's simple. Most people agree with that shit. Again, this is the type of man that has mainstreamed that violence is patriotic. This is the type of mindset that these people have. And that's not free speech, even though we think it is. That's reckless speech. And that type of speech, you have the freedom to make it, but it comes with consequences. And his type of rhetoric has poisoned a generation. When you normalize violence, you invite it to knock at your door, to come into your homes. And all the guns in the world can't protect you from those moments, this moment. So again, this isn't shocking to black people.
They were born to be criminals, frankly.
This is one of the most dangerous and quite honestly gross things I've heard a president of the United States say. You're going to hear Donald Trump, the president of the United States, set the stage for a broader deployment of federal troops in cities like Chicago and Baltimore this time. And he does so not by describing the act of criminal conduct, but the people who live in this city.
In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals.
The president is talking about cities with majority-minority populations as places where people who are born to be criminals live.
So Charlie Kirk got popped, huh? What y'all got to say about that? Who popped him? Where did he get popped? Wasn't Chicago, wasn't DC, wasn't LA. I'm pretty sure you couldn't be in a whiter place than Utah.
Now let's zoom out, fam. Charlie Kirk wasn't a unique person, at least not in my eyes. He was in a movement based upon Trump's playbook. People that wanted to align themselves like Trump. Demonize, divide, and dare violence. And that's why people are saying that there's no way that Trump got shot. I've seen several videos of people talking about watching these videos online.
Not to be that person, but Charlie Kirk's situation is a prime example that Donald Trump lied about being shot. Because that was precision. That, what Trump did was some staged bullshit.
After people watch those videos with Charlie Kirk, they now are seeing that, hey, that Trump thing is staged. I even watched a video that did the testing and showed that if Trump had gotten hit with the velocity or caliber bullet that he was shot with, his whole head would have been blown off. not just a little piece of his ear. And then now his ear is fully formed back. How does the cartilage grow back in your ear? Did y'all not see Evander Holyfield get his goddamn ear bitten off by Mike Tyson? That scar stays there. When you look at Trump now, there's no scar. Look, Trump and MAGA, they thrive off of chaos. Trump was the type of man that was willing to stage violence in order to try to get sympathy to win an election. I want y'all to think about that. He's trained this country to expect theatrics, division, and blood. And now we're just a nation of people that don't trust shit. Nobody believes anything is real anymore. And why should they? And violence, it just feels like background noise. It just feels like Thursday. And that's dangerous for all of us.
Only problem with this is sitting back, watching my people put on a cape for this whole situation. Oh, he was a father. He was a husband. Nobody should be killed for their political views. You think? You think? Because killing somebody for their political views is just flat out wrong. How did that slip past us? It's almost as if we've never been on the receiving end of situations like this. And y'all getting it wrong. Y'all talking about people are celebrating his death, and I don't even think it's that. I think people just trying to let y'all know that they don't give a fuck about no Charlie Kirk.
Oh my God, you sound so bad. How could you be so happy over somebody's death? How could you celebrate something? Look, I don't give humanity to people who don't see me as human.
Living around white people is not a human right. You don't get to live with us all the time.
Shut your mouth and your fat ass, boy.
Y'all remember how they laughed at George Floyd? Y'all remember how they laughed at all of us every time a cop killed us? And we didn't deserve that? I'm not saying he deserved what he got, but look, if you don't see me as human, don't expect no humanity out of me.
Stay vigilant, stay engaged, stay revolutionary.